We are back looking at thick skin again. Skin is composed of two basic layers, two general layers. The tip of the pointer is at the base of one. That layer is called the epidermis. The epidermis is familiar to you because we've already studied it as the epithelial layer of the skin. The epidermis is the most superficial layer of skin. The tip of the pointer now on scanning power is at pretty much where the base of the dermis, or the second layer of the skin, is found. The skin is made up of two layers, the dermis and the epidermis. The pointer is in a layer of adipose that underlies the skin. It's called the hypodermis, but it is not a layer of the skin. It's just found under the skin or deep to the skin. Now we'll view these same layers on high power. Here on high power, if you look closely, you can see the tip of the pointer right between the epithelial layer and the connective tissue layer of the skin. But those two layers, epithelium and connective tissue, are really the epidermis above the pointer and the dermis of the skin. We'll focus first on the epidermis of the skin. We are looking at the epidermis on high power. The epidermis is composed of 5 layers. We are now going to begin looking at those specific 5 layers. The tip of the pointer is in the layer of dead cells that we call the stratum corneum. A thick layer in thick skin of dead cells, stratum corneum. The tip of the pointer here is still in the layer of dead cells, but it's very close to the living cells. This is the layer that we would refer to as stratum lucidum. Dead cells, but very close to the living cells, stratum lucidum. Moving deep into the skin, we come to the third layer of the epidermis. This is the most superficial layer of living cells, stratum granulosum. The tip of the pointer is on the most superficial layer of living cells, or stratum granulosum of the epidermis. Next, we move to the stratum spinosum, the layer of cells in the region where the pointer is. Stratum spinosum, the fourth layer as you move deep in the epidermis. Now we have moved to the deepest layer of the epidermis, or the stratum basale. Stratum basale is one layer of cells. These are the cells that undergo mitosis and give rise to the rest of the epidermis, all of the other layers. There are 3 living layers of the epidermis: stratum basale, stratum spinosum, stratum granulosum, and 2 dead layers of cells, stratum lucidum and stratum corneum. On high power, the tip of the pointer is in the region between the epidermis and the dermis. The epidermis is above and the dermis is below. The dermis is what we're going to focus on now. The dermis is made up of dense, irregular connective tissue, and you can see fibroblasts with pink collagen fibers between them in this view. The most superficial layer of the dermis, the one just deep to the epidermis, is called the papillary layer. It's a papillary layer because there are little papillae that extend up and anchor the epidermis to the dermis. The tip of the pointer here is in one of those little papillae. You can see another one just up on the screen from it. They extend up into the epidermis, and they are a good anchor between the epidermis and the dermis.